Welcome back to Living Local. If you're planning a special event and you really want it to stand out, you may consider adding inflatables to the occasion. Whether the event is for kids or adults, fun or fundraising, inflatables can add extra elements of entertainment and engagement. But how can you make sure that these giant inflatables enhance the experience instead of adding extra stress? Well, today we're getting some expert advice from some experts. Joining us today in studio is Tyrell Salins, pronounce the last name again?
Yeah, Salins.
Salins, and Rachel as well. And somebody else is here.
Sophia.
Sophie. She's going to help us show what's going on out as well. All right, Tyrell and Rachel, first tell us about what's the history of your company, Midwest Activity Productions.
Well, I guess my family would probably have to take the credit or the blame for catching
whichever day to day.
That's right. Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurial bug. The event services and event production actually goes all the way back to my grandfather. He started a rodeo production company back in the 60s.
Oh my gosh.
So 45 years later, my brother bought a mechanical bull, and that's kind of where I started. 2005 is when the inflatables came into the scene, getting into a lot more of the school carnivals, church events, you name it. And then my lovely wife here joined along for the ride. I don't know, about 8 years ago, Rachel joined in the fun.
Yeah, Rachel, what really intrigued you guys about inflatables doing that?
Sure. So I think both of us really live an active lifestyle. We were both involved in sports growing up. And so really these inflatables kind of lead to that active lifestyle, having fun, whether that's inside, outside. So it made sense for us to invest in inflatables. But then also inflatables designs have come a really long way. So they really do some fun and unique things with inflatables. So it seemed like a good way to incorporate kind of our passion for bringing fun to the outdoors, indoors, staying active, but also investing in some really cool, fun equipment that we can bring to the Quad Cities.
Yeah, and everybody knows that you can get active with inflatables.
That's right.
And if somebody wants to incorporate inflatables into their event, whatever it might be, there's lots of different options, correct? Let's go through some of them. First of all, everybody knows of bounce houses. There's a lot to do with different types of bounce houses, right?
Right. So really, if you think of a bounce house, it's really probably the most simple, basic inflatable, or maybe where it got its start. So people refer to them as bounce houses, jumpers, lots of different names, but essentially it's just kind of an aired trampoline. That's probably the segment or area that we own the least of is bounce houses. We actually have 2 of them that we offer. And then you move more to like an interactive inflatable. And that's really where we specialize as an organization. We offer lots of interactive inflatables. So that's options that allow you to bounce, to slide, to jump, to run. We have tons of obstacle courses or segments of obstacle course that we can customize for you. We have jousting, lots of different interactive inflatables, but that's really where you'll find the most options.
So we have an interactive inflatable here, correct? Right? What is this?
So this is
actually I should try it on here. I'll just sit this down for a second.
I think you should definitely try this one on here, see it in action. But this is one of our human bumper ball inflatables. So we bring these out to all sorts of events, but essentially you can do lots of fun things in there. You can play a game of soccer. We have a different options to have fun in those units there, but they are definitely a hit. We bring them out to a lot of our high school and school events. So you can see what one of those bumper ball looks like right here.
And you can just run into people or whatever you want. Well, as long as, you know,
play soccer, steal the bacon. There's all kinds of fun games.
It's basically like wearing a, well, like you described, like a backpack almost. You know, you got their straps right here. It's not even that heavy really either. But yeah, you could do some real damage with this in a good way.
They are a lot of fun. They are one of our most popular units there. So.
You know what? I can see why. There's also units called mechanical operation, right? Tell me about those.
We do have some mechanical units. So those have moving parts. One of the ones that is probably our popular unit is Last One Standing. It's a octagon where essentially players jump over a moving arm. We do have it pictured there in It's listed on our webpage. But we run that unit. We can go forward, backwards, fast and slow, and then the participants are able to jump over that moving arm and essentially see who is the last one standing.
Similar to that TV show Wipeout.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought of. I was like, oh my gosh,
not falling
I've seen
in
that
water,
before.
falling on an inflatable.
Not quite falling quite as far.
Right.
Tyrell, a lot of people, you can rent these a lot of places, and people just assume they're easy to set up and so on. But I'm assuming it's easier to have a professional, correct?
Obviously easier just because of the weight.
Yeah.
You know, they go anywhere from a 200-pound small bounce house to as heavy as 1,200-pound items. So yeah, for the weight, but more of it's going to come down to your safety. Of course, you know, having a professional, we've all heard the horror stories of them blowing away. That should never happen. They should be secured properly. All the way through your event, you know, getting with a professional is going to help you on things like even the traffic flow and the layout, all the small details of that event. You know, if you really want that event to be successful, somebody who's watched 3,000 and 5,000 events in their lifetime, such as between me and Rachel, it's probably a good one to at least ask us for a few suggestions. Maybe.
Just flows a lot easier. You guys also have themes with a lot of your inflatables too, is that right?
Yeah, a theme, you know, if you think of it anywhere in life, it's an easier segment to market. So obviously people will grasp onto it. They'll remember your date of your event if that theme catches their mind. For instance, fire theme. You know, everybody likes firefighters, puppy dogs and Dalmatians and fire trucks. So we would theme it fire themed, and we actually have 5-6 units, and then we would theme that entire event, and it really makes it catch on in the community a little bit better.
And for any kind of fun event, fundraisers we mentioned earlier on, you have a lot of things that work well for a sports fundraiser, for example.
Very true.
So really any of our units can be put together to create a successful fundraising event, but we definitely have some competition-based units that work really well. So an example of something that we've partnered with a lot of groups on is to do a kind of like a bracket style competition where maybe it's at a high school and we're encouraging them to submit teams to participate and kind of compete against each other. And maybe that's a game of you know, soccer using our human bumper balls, and you have teams of alumni versus current students, or maybe seniors versus freshmen, and maybe that's also going through our obstacle courses or using our soccer dart. So there's a lot of different units that can be used successfully for fundraising, and maybe have that theme competition based, or even like soccer could be one that you could then successfully use to fundraise for an event.
And speaking of competitions and things like that, the whole Ninja Warrior concept, that's really popular. A lot of people have seen the TV show and so on. How can you bring that type of entertainment to anybody's event?
Well, now you're hitting right in our wheelhouse. She talked about obstacle course sections, and we can actually put together a continuous obstacle longer than 360 feet. So you can start in one end zone, run your entire football field, and come back without ever touching the ground, going inflatable to inflatable. So everything from rope swings to cliffhangers to the ropes that would be like military ropes. So once again, if you theme it Ninja Warrior, if you're a little older, American Gladiators, the TV show Wipeout, you know, that's what's going to make your event really pop off to the community, is linking with something that's out there in pop culture and that everybody knows about trend-wise.
You guys have done a ton of events over the years. Are there any in particular that really stand out, that went really well, that you like?
I think for us, like, every event has its fun and stands out in our memory, but we love making an impact from the smallest communities that have us come out to even some of the larger communities and bring something unique, different to their event. I know for me personally, we were able to customize an obstacle course for a high school. They were kind of looking for something new to bring to their homecoming event, and essentially we were able to fill an entire football field full of an obstacle course. So for those students, they had never seen something that encompassed that entire field in terms of inflatables. So that was really cool to be able to see the look on their face when they all came in and saw, you know, the size of the inflatable we were able to bring to them. So that one always sticks out for me. It was definitely a really fun event and cool to be part of.
It sounds very fun, very rewarding, and most importantly, tons of activity going on. Tyrell, Rachel, thank you so much for coming in today. If you want more information about Midwest Activity Productions, just head over to Facebook and you can find them there. We'll also have those details posted on our website, ourquadcities.com.